What made you guys want to start CurlFest? And did you even imagine it would be something like it is today?
You want to take that, Sheree? Oh, sure.
Oh, we're on. Yeah, that is I always get like, the team always nudges me because when I tell this story, I get so passionate about it and I tell every single detail. So I'm gonna try and abbreviate and give you guys some of the more important parts. So CurlFest, before CurlFest, there was Curly Girl Collective, and Curly Girl Collective is comprised of 3 plus 2 more founders that are unfortunately not with us today. One is in South Africa and one had to be on the West Coast. But the 5 of us started Curly Girl Collective, and the reason we started it was because of community, was because it was on an email thread. It started on an email thread. One of our friends did a big chop and she wanted to reach out to her community because now she was going back to natural. She was going back to her roots. And she didn't know how to navigate the world looking like her authentic self. Mm-hmm. So she reached out to her friends. Some of us were had already gone back to natural, or already natural. And she just needed, support and resources on how to care for her hair and then also enter into these spaces as herself, These are things as Black women that we deal with and are so innate to us. When we start a new job, how should we look, right? Should we wear our hair, or should our hair be, slick, or should it be, now we're going to rock our fro because now we have the community and now we have the support. But back then in 2010, we didn't have that. So we started Curly Girl Collective, and it started at, we had our very first meetup at our founder's apartment in Brooklyn, and it was magic. It was magic. We had over 70 people on this email thread all over the world, all over Brooklyn. And a lot of us hadn't met before. So we had our first meetup. And from there, we were like, we have to do this for more people. And we had these small events. This is before Instagram was a thing. This was before Facebook was a thing. We were just spreading the events by word of mouth. And we were targeting about 200 people, and the lines would be around the corner, down the block. And we decided, we got to meet the demand. Let's do something that reaches more people. Let's find a venue that can reach more people. And we were thinking about 500 people would show up. Almost 2,000 people showed up. And that was in 2014. And we've been doubling and quadrupling ever since. And our last CurlFest was in 2019, before today.
In the 3 years that has happened since the last CurlFest, what have you guys been working on? What has the past 3 years been like for each of you?
Oh wow! I mean, that's a lot that's happened in the last 3 years, as we all know. From a business standpoint and obviously from a personal standpoint as well. I think one of the things that sort of keeps us going is so much of what we do is a reflection of our community. So everything we do for our brand, it's basically for our people. So when we all were going through everything with COVID and the pandemic, we also knew that there was still a void for what we were able to build together as a community. So there was this constant feeling, even through the hardest of times, it was, when can we come back, right? Because we knew we needed to come back, so we knew our community needed us to come back. And in 2020, when we probably retrospectively should have taken a break, we had a virtual event, which in a lot of ways was a little bit harder than a live event. But what it allowed us to do was to still commune with our community and really understand what was it that we needed now. How had the pandemic changed us, right? How had the things that we've all gone through changed us, and how would that inform how we move forward? So, since then, we've just been on this mission. It's been a challenging one, in full transparency, to come back because we wanted to come back with the same vigor, if not more, than we had in the past, right? And things have changed, right? And being able to adapt to that, being able to flex with that, right? So the bounce back is the theme because it really speaks to the resilience of us as a people. So we're excited. It makes me so elated to see you guys here again, and we're hoping for an amazing day.
I feel like textured hair, natural hair, we're in such a renaissance right now for it. Something that I think when we look back 20, 30, 40 years from now, just to be able to be a part of it and to share with people the kinds of advancements that's happened in our time, the kinds of things that we've been able to see and things we've been able to do together as a community. What advancements have happened in society or in the natural hair industry that have each of you so excited?
So lots of strides, and when you guys go into the stores now, you may not just see a small little end cap. You might see an entire aisle that is catered to kind of like textured hair. I had an interview probably yesterday, and I said, yeah, we have an aisle, but we want 5 aisles, we want 10 aisles, we want the store, right? So I don't think it stops here. I think we want to take a pause to acknowledge the progress that has been made to make sure that the stores and the products and the conversation about beauty is inclusive enough that includes everybody here, however you want to wear your hair. I just want to emphasize that CurlFest is not about creating boxes, it's about expanding them. So we are here to make sure that everyone feels seen and included. And so when the progress that is made is when you see a young girl that sees herself in all of us. Progress is made is when they come and they can see 5 women on the stage that say, we created this for you, and they also are empowered to do the same. So that is progress, and that will continue to happen, and it's not going to stop here, and it's not going to stop with CurlFest, but this is just the beginning. So I think I answered your question.
You absolutely did. You absolutely did. I know you guys have activated not just in New York City, you've activated in Atlanta. There's been a lot of talk of people who want you guys to activate in other places too. LA, Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami. Are you guys planning to have CurlFest in any other locations, either this year or in the next couple of years?
You know, that's always been on our vision board. I mean, you should see our vision board. We have so many amazing ideas and thoughts about the way that we can expand on CurlFest. I mean, there may be a product, there could be CurlFest in diaspora, but we constantly are listening to our community, and we realize that even though our community started right here in New York, when we go to other places, when we travel to other places, or even communicating with people on social, and they're like, we need this here, we realize that there's a need, and there may be a tour in our future.
Like international?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I love to come to CurlFest because I believe here is where we see a lot of trends being set, hair trends that are being set. I would just love to know, because first of all of you guys have gone on my vision board today. I'd love to know what inspired each of your hair looks.
Okay, well, so part of what was great about, one thing that came out of the pandemic for me was YouTube in a dream. So I basically, look on YouTube and find tutorials. So today's hairstyle was inspired by Madagascan traditional look.
I love that. And when I saw it, I was like, Melody, you did that? I love it. My hairstyle, I wanted a curly ponytail, but I wanted a twist on it. And I think that's the beauty of our hair and the versatility of it. Black women are dope, simply put. And our hairstyles can take many forms. So my ponytail has a little poof on the bottom, and it has a little detail in there, and I got some braids as well. So I'm merging it all.
Am I on? Okay. My hairstyle, I think, is just me. I inspired my hairstyle. someone said to me today, I was like, oh, I'm trying to do something different. And they're like, Simone, this is your natural, this is your signature. So I inspire my own hairstyle, if that answers your question, is most authentically me.
Yes,
So.
I love that. Well, all of you inspire me and just so many women around the world. I would love to know, how can we all be a support of you guys, not just today, but ongoing?
I mean, first, I think the support, it comes up as actually showing up, which you guys have done and continue to done throughout the years. I think the support is spreading the word, right? Each and every one of you being able to let other communities understand the reason why we're here, the purpose why we're here, the bigger mission that we have. And I think, one of the things that we often talk about is we are still 5 Black women owned, still entrepreneurs, still forging towards this greater mission that we have. And I think when it comes to support, it's like think of anything that you really want to scale and expand. You need support, right? So my ask would be to think about the things that you love in life. Think about the things that you feel have helped change society. Think about the things that you feel like you wish you had when you were younger. And if you put a filter on that, on, what would you do to advance it, I would say that's what we would ask of you.
All right, before we close out today, that was so beautiful. I want to know if anybody has any questions. I'm taking 2 questions from the press pit.
And so I could write a book of the trials and tribulations and what we have to go through to put this event on. It's not easy. It's not easy for anyone. It's especially not easy for folks that look like us, if I'm going to be transparent about it. There are hurdles that are created that we have to traverse that other people may not have to. But we do it because we know that the goal is bigger than any kind of barrier that is in our way. And so when we have a conversation with one person that says their attendance at this event changed their life in some way or impacted their life in some way, that's enough, right? Just one person. When we have tens of thousands of people showing up, and that level of support is beyond bounds. But even if we change the trajectory of one person's life in this lifetime, that's enough for us to say that this is needed and we need to keep pushing forward. So,
Yeah, love that.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Do we have one more question before we close out, please? Yes, come up.
I mean, that's a great question, and I mean, Simone touched on it in talking about trials and tribulations and this not being easy. And she talked about, being able to write a book. But even today, there were so many things that happened that tried to cloud the beauty and the excitement and the joy that we're all about to experience. And I think what helps me with coping and being able to keep moving is understanding that, understanding what my purpose is, understanding what my desires are, understanding what my goals are, and the strong survive, right? So not to say that there aren't moments when I break down, or not to say that there's not moments when I need to go in a corner and cry or call a sister friend or have a prayer circle. But I think what keeps me moving forward is understanding that there is purpose to my life and there are things that I want to achieve, and there is no one or no thing that is going to stop me from doing what I feel as though I deserve, or I'm destined for, or I'm made for. And I think that's what helps me in moving forward. And a community, sisterhood, all the things. I have a therapist, so any tools in my toolkit. But I think at the forefront, at the North Star, is me knowing that it's bigger than this one moment.
I hope everybody just sits with that message for a moment. I just want us to take a moment to sit in that, to remember that today we're in community with each other, with one another. There's people that you don't know. Introduce yourself. Say hello. Remember with your social, remember to please tag at the Curly Girl Collective to really just support these women that have done so much for us, and to remind yourselves that you too, each of you, have a purpose today in this room. Sharice just said something incredibly powerful. As the doors open, just everybody please sit in that, okay? Have a wonderful CurlFest. Again, my name is Danielle James, the Digital Beauty Director for Elle Magazine. It was a pleasure to be here with